this offseason, trying to reunite Davante Adams with Aaron Rodgers again.
I'm learning how hard the NFL is and how hard it is to win. And
like this can bring people together or divide. And, in the past, I think maybe could have divided a little bit, but I think this is going to bring us closer.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Raiders barely lost to the Miami Dolphins today, and no, I didn't think I'd be saying that with how this season started. We're calling all lip readers for another Mark Davis heated moment on the sideline, plus a bombshell report on Antonio Pierce's future as the Raiders head coach, and it's been confirmed that the Jets will stop at nothing to acquire Davante Adams. We'll get into all this and more. Remember to like and subscribe for more content like this. It was quite odd. In the middle of the night at 3 o'clock in the morning Pacific time, 6 a.m. East Coast time, Adam Schefter had a report about the New York Jets going to make another run at Davante Adams this offseason. They are trying to pair him again once and for all with Aaron Rodgers. We know the Jets made a run at Davante Adams at the trade deadline, but the Raiders said no and instead decided to fire Josh McDaniels. But I found this report from Adam Schefter quite odd. It had me thinking, why now? Why right before the game against the Miami Dolphins is this report coming out that the Jets will stop at nothing to pursue Davante Adams? They said it will happen, a source told ESPN. They will pursue Adams again. And some sources even said they believe the Raiders would consider trading Davante Adams depending on how the season turns out with Antonio Pierce. We know Rodgers may be back playing soon. He's recovering quite nicely. And the Jets are not going to take no for an answer when it comes to Davante Adams. Schefter is also reporting that people say that Adams might want to stay in Vegas where he's enjoyed living. But if the Raiders struggle down the stretch and Adams thinks a Rodgers reunion would enhance his chances of winning, he's probably going to want to link up with Aaron Rodgers. It's crazy how Pierce's performance depends so much on this future offseason move. That's why it's odd that at the exact same time that this Adams report came out before the game against the Miami Dolphins, you also had Rap Sheet talking about Antonio Pierce, saying that he's impressed his boss Mark Davis. He loves the energy in the building. This was some positive news for Antonio Pierce right before the game against the Miami Dolphins. Mark Davis has not specifically stated what Antonio Pierce would need to do to win the full-time job, but reports indicate that Mark Davis was pleasantly surprised with how the team responded with back-to-back wins, and it seemed like there could be hope going into this game. Could the Raiders quiet the Davante Adams trade noise? Could Antonio Pierce be the future head coach of the Raiders? Well, Mark Davis ended up having another moment on camera watching the game, upset at some of the decision-making happening in this matchup. Mark Davis appeared to be frustrated at some of the Raiders' attempts on fourth down, and I want to know from you guys, what exactly is he saying here? Some people are trying to read the lips. Some people cannot tell exactly what he's saying. We're trying our best. My estimation is, what the F is he doing, or what the F are they doing? That would be my prediction if I had to guess what Mark Davis is saying. The offensive performance from the Raiders against the Dolphins definitely left fans wanting more, and apparently Mark Davis. Aiden O'Connell's rookie Payne showed today he had 3 interceptions. One of them was him just throwing it up in the air when he was getting sacked. But Josh Jacobs did not get going, only had 14 attempts in this game. Not a good average yards per carry at all. So it forced the Raiders to have to put the game in Aiden O'Connell's hands, and it just looked ugly. At one point between 2 quarters, the Raiders could not get a first down, and at one point in the second half of the game, they only had 17 yards of total offense. The Raiders defense definitely saved the day and had a great game against Miami. Isaiah Pola-Mao came away with an interception, having to fill in for Marcus Epps, who was injured during this game and ruled out with a neck injury. Not only did you see people like Pola-Mao make some great plays, but as a unit, this defense was just on top of it. Huge defensive stops, creating a forced turnover on downs in the red zone. Keep in mind, coming into this game, the Miami Dolphins were the best in the NFL in red zone offense. Tua Tagovailoa looked completely shook in this game, and this defense was able to run with one of the best offenses in the NFL, allowing only 2 field goals in the second half, only giving up 6 points in the second half. You also saw 2 forced fumbles in this game for the Raiders. They really set the offense up nicely several times. It was just quite frustrating that the offense could not capitalize on all these opportunities the defense kept giving the Raiders. What was even more frustrating was in the first half of the game when the Raiders offense with offensive coordinator Bo Hardegree was going so conservative. Antonio Pierce took responsibility for this after the game. He said that he was trying to go conservative in the first half to help protect rookie quarterback Aiden O'Connell. But at a certain point, I believe they went way too conservative late in the second quarter, right before halftime with 2 minutes and 28 seconds to go. The Raiders did not even try to put together a 2-minute drive here. What they did was run the football 3 times in a row with 2 minutes and 28 seconds left. Everybody knew the Dolphins were getting the ball back at the top of the third quarter. 3rd and 4, they ran it up the middle with Josh Jacobs just trying to burn some clock, and it was quite odd that they weren't going for points even though they had so much time remaining. The defense bailed them out, getting a fumble, and the Raiders would have the football again at the 32-yard line of the Miami Dolphins. They would have 58 seconds left with 2 timeouts, and they would still decide to go so conservative, running the football with Josh Jacobs and allowing 42 seconds of the clock to be burned. Then it was 2 incomplete passes to Davante Adams and kicking a field goal, even though you started that drive at the Miami Dolphins 32-yard line. And your defense just made a stop. You would think you'd want to try to go for 7 points there. But that is not what the Raiders did. They played it so conservative in the first half. It felt like the Raiders tried to go more aggressive in the second half of the game when they had to, when they didn't get a first down for almost 2 quarters. They eventually went to take their shots with Aiden O'Connell, but O'Connell, unfortunately, looked inaccurate at times. He looked to make some questionable decisions and generally looked uncomfortable under pressure. It seemed very frustrating because the Raiders had every opportunity to tie this game, to maybe even win this game. There were a couple of times when they went for it on 4th down and failed in this game. Pierce ultimately tried to be a little too aggressive once they got frustrated with the offensive performance. Who knows, if the Raiders would have chose to make 2 field goals, maybe this would have been an easier game, a game they could have easily won. But overall, I think the team was disappointed with their offensive performance. All of us were expecting the Miami Dolphins to blow out the Raiders. The spread was insane going into this game. I saw it at 14.5 points at one point in favor of the Dolphins, of course. So the Raiders defense shocked the world, proved that they're legit this year, top 15, maybe top 12, seriously. And the offense ultimately disappointed. And I think if you're going to have to put some blame on somebody on the offensive side of the football, you're going to be looking at the game plan, the play caller, maybe some of Pierce's influence on the play caller, going too conservative at times and then going too aggressive at times. And obviously Aiden O'Connell, you can say that he has the rookie shakes. Oh, he's just a rookie. That's the problem. He's going to have groin pains. But we're seeing a lot of rookies in the NFL right now look a lot more comfortable than Aiden O'Connell. People like Dorian Thompson-Robinson, people like CJ Stroud, of course, a 1st-round pick. Ultimately, if this offense does not pick up, people are going to be asking for a change at quarterback, maybe even going back to Jimmy Garoppolo. Head coach Antonio Pierce needs to win now to keep his job, to make this a permanent job, and also to keep Davante Adams happy so he does not end up going to the New York Jets. And I personally do not think the Raiders are going to prioritize developing a rookie 4th-round pick quarterback for the remainder of the season when there are desperate games they need to win and when they have a real shot to still make the postseason. Even after this disappointing performance, the Raiders are 5-6. They could still end with a 10-7 record, maybe a 9-8 record. And they're a couple games out of getting the 7th seed after the Steelers have lost to the Browns today. Everything is still in front of the Raiders and their defense is giving them some more optimism. Can the offense get it together? Let me know in the comments below what you think the Raiders need to do. Is Antonio Pierce the future head coach, or did he get exposed in this game? And is Aiden O'Connell the future quarterback? Does he need some time, or is this guy ultimately going to just be a great backup quarterback in the NFL? Let me know. My name is Wi-Fi Willie. If you want more content from me, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Peace out, and I hope you have a good one.